Yun, nung November 8, mga ika-8 nung gabi, andito po ako sa Coron, yung mga...
On November 8, when Haiyan hit Palawan, the chairman of the Tagbanua tribe was not in his home village but in the main city, Coron. When the storm gathered force, he sent one of his children and his grandchildren to his office for safety. He himself stayed at his house in the mangroves with some other children. There was no more communication with his home community, Malawik.
Yun, nawala po yung communication, hindi na po ako makapunta doon sa barangay. Worry ako na hindi ko na nalaman kung anong nangyari.
The remote communities were unaware of the danger approaching them and continued their daily life. Because the government had not warned the Tagbanua tribe in the remote areas, the typhoon would hit them fully unprepared. Chairman Capiano directly contacted the local officials and told them to send his people to shelter on higher grounds. All communication was cut off, and the chairman was extremely worried about the fate of his people and family in Malawik.
Hindi ako mapalagay. Kasi walang balita eh. Yung pamilya ko hindi ko pa nalaman yung kalagayan. Kaya nag-decide na rin ako na talagang makabalik at makauwi sa Malawig para malaman ko yung kalagayan nila.
He braved the waves with one of the remaining boats to fight his way to Malawik. When he arrived, he saw that 80% of the village was destroyed. Buildings and trees were gone.
Nawala na yung nawala na yung mga kabahayan, nawala na yung halos sa 80% nawala na tinangay na nung malaking alon.
Malawik had been battered by hurricane winds of up to 250 kilometers per hour, and waves up to 7 meters high had wiped this thriving village from the map.
Natangay man yung mga kabahayan at mga building. Wala pa rin na damage or namatay na mga tao.
All the houses are gone, but nobody died.
When the wind started to tear down our house, I jumped out, but my wife wanted to stay. I forced her out because big waves are now also coming in. Then the first big wave rolled in and washed away our house. We tried to reach high ground, but then the wind took away one of my children, and I had no strength to hold on to it.
I have to say many words, but I cannot say anymore because it's hurt me. What happened to me?
My wife shouted, "Where are you?" And the child answered. He had found refuge on the roof of another house. We all went there and climbed on top. But then we could not leave anymore because the water was so high. Then the roof started floating and we moved towards the plaza in the middle of the village. I tried to get off, but the water was so deep that I sank, and my wife had to pull me out.
What the situation I had today is too hard. And you can see my house and our place. It's already wiped out.
Then we swam and reached the mountain. There are plenty of fallen trees, and we crawl under because the wind is still strong. There are more people, and we don't have clothes anymore. Only my brother, who gives his shirt to my child. The children are freezing and have stomach aches. They are crying.
1,200 families had lost almost everything they had in the typhoon, and they were starving.
I think I cannot see the word more.
In Coron town, the government distributed some relief goods, but nothing went to the remote islands. So when we asked the government when that would happen, they said, well, maybe later. So we decided to bring the relief goods ourselves, and we bought all the rice that was available on the market.
Yes, I'm happy to see you again because you give us some rice. And we have no more food. Just waiting for the NGOs to come here to give us something to eat.
1,200 families had lost almost everything they had in the typhoon, and they were starving. Since inefficiency and corruption reigns in the Philippines, we decided to organize the help activities ourselves. We distributed rice and assessed the damage to work out what else was needed.
Dit zou bijvoorbeeld een open eetruimte kunnen worden, hè? Hetgeen dat hiernaast staat. Waar we even zo'n soort refter van kunnen maken, dat kinderen ook kunnen leren van een plek waar dat ze eten. En die afval die kunnen we dan hier composteren eventueel en dat kan dan ook naar het gaan. Dan hebben we zo'n soort cirkel daar rond is.
I feel about the typhoon by Yolanda. When it's come here, it's about 10 o'clock in the evening. Boy, just like a helicopter. Very high, very sound.
Very strong.
Very strong.
This is when the message really hit home. Food alone is not enough. We have to rebuild the communities completely and construct new houses and boats to enable the tribe to stand on its own feet again.
And we are not talking here about high technological engineering. We just try to make them see that this is about very simple systems that they can easily maintain with local materials, so they don't really need to run to the town centers to buy in the hardware stores. They can get most of the materials from the area itself.
On April 9, 5 months after Typhoon Haiyan, friends and supporters of the Tagbanua tribe were invited for the turnover of the first rehabilitation project in Marabal. Spirits were high, and the hardship the tribe had experienced was almost forgotten in the joyous celebrations.
Kasi proseso ito, di ba? Ang binanggit nyo rin kanina, itong trabaho ay hindi tapos. May dalawang building tayo, may building dito, yung mga utilities, at may rainwater collector tayo sa taas.
We now have school buildings, waterless toilet and rainwater collector. I think the building is beautiful, but there must be good education inside. If the teachers and the children are not in the school, it's just a building.
Sabihin na may edukasyon, di ba? Kung walang maayos na sistema sa paligid, kung walang teacher, kung hindi pumapasok yung mga bata, building lang.
Salamat, salamat sa sarat punta.
Wala ka dati yung cellphone para na-record natin. Noong 1920s, dinayo na po ng ganito rin kalakas na.
In the 1920s, the Tagbanua experienced a similar disaster when a strong typhoon hit the area. But his forefathers were not worried, Chairman Capiano explains, because they understood the forces of nature and it did not frighten them. So mentally they were ready for whatever was coming to them. Chairman Capiano explains that the tribe should also now prepare themselves for the future. And they should do so not by relying only on outside help, but by proudly standing on their own feet.
Doon sa mga tulong ng tagalabas. At least tumayo tayo doon sa ating plano at kung paano tayo nakakabangon.